Well, it's that time again. Frontier did another Unlocked, and I didn't watch it this time around because I was at work yesterday. So we're sitting here, streaming on Twitch, reacting. Not to the whole thing. We're just going to react to the deep dive for Planet Coaster because, well, Planet Zoo Console Edition getting some DLC. Yay, interesting. But it's DLC already on the PC version, so meh, whatever. Elite Dangerous, never played it, don't have a care. So, like, realistically, the only thing I can give a monkey's butt about is Planet Coaster 2, so we're just going to react to the deep dive. And you had to give away something, what's the point? Because I'm not watching it live, so you can't be a part of the giveaway. Also, just want to point out, we tried to watch just a second ago on Twitch, and for reasons I could not work out, it was just my audio was fine, but the audio for the Planet Coaster 2 deep dive was completely broken. Like, basically it would duplicate it, and I couldn't work out why it was duplicating it, and I don't know why it was duplicating it. Because I'm looking through OBS settings, and there's nothing in OBS that says, hey, duplicate this. Because as far as OBS is concerned, it should not be picking up any audio. You know, the microphone is set up not to pick up any audio other than my audio, but for some reason it's picking up the thingy audio. Picking up the browser audio, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on there. That's just the thing that's going on, and the thing you're going to have to live with. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. You have to live with that problem. Also, just before we get started, Twitch mod Ellie made me something with AI of all things, because that's where the world's going. Everyone's AI these days. But Ellie made me something called Ross Steel Gaming Theme, which is my current stream starting soon screen, and I thought I'd show it off to you right now. Here it is.
Planet Coaster ride, building worlds so wide. Sims 4 come alive, Fortnite skills can't hide. Raw Steel gonna stream again, from Fallout to every trend. Gamers gather, time will spend with Raw Steel online friend. In the virtual land, with a guiding hand, creating dreams that stand in this digital sand. He's the gaming king with each new thing. Watch the magic he brings, hear the joy bells ring. Ross, playing games all night, guess who's in sight? Ross Steel's the name in this gaming light. Well, Planet Coaster ride, building worlds so wide. Sims 4 come alive, Fortnite skills can't hide. Raw Steel gonna stream again, from Fallout to every trend. Gamers gather, time will spend with Raw Steel online friend. In the virtual land, with a guiding hand, creating dreams that stand in this digital sand. He's the gaming king with each new thing. Watch the magic he brings, hear the joy bells ring. Raw Steel gonna stream again, from Fallout to every trend. Gamers gather, time well spent with Raw Steel online friend. With Raw Steel, our online friend.
My name is Robert James, and I'm a UI designer on Planet Coaster 2.
And I'm Xander Payne, and I'm a senior games designer on Planet Coaster 2.
We're really excited to be talking about Planet Coaster 2 today. In this deep dive, we're going to talk about all the management features that we have to offer.
Management!
So let's
Yay!
get straight into our Swimpressive update.
Swimpressive. Okay. Lovely word. Lovely word.
So
Swimpressive.
here we are in one of our career levels, Summit Awesome.
That's
So
a career level?
it's a
Oh
really,
my god,
really
that's
interesting
beautiful.
level, actually. I love what they've done with the art team for these scenarios. Really, really interesting.
They've made it just so beautiful having things like I love that we've got like the park set up into two sides,
That's
and
actually
then
really
with
cool.
the monorail going between the two.
It's like a
It's
double
really-
park almost.
Really interesting. But it's worth noting that we are on a development build, so not everything you see here is final. So to dive straight into all these management features, so first we're going to take a look at the HUD. So in the previous deep dives, we've shown off things about the browser, but it's good to kind of have a look and see what things maybe didn't exactly get explained or touched on. So first off, all the blueprints are here by default, and then you can also look at the tools on the right. These tools are present in each one of the tabs inside of the browser, and this allows you basically to switch between building new or building from these blueprints, and that's the same across these.
I'm still not convinced that happens so
Inside of
big.
the career levels as well, you will have some research, so not all these blueprints will be available to you straight off the bat, but as you progress through the career, you're going to be able to unlock more of these blueprints, but you can always build new, so there's always an option for you.
Okay.
And
So
then
one
in the
else is starting,
scenery as well,
Lots of blueprints in
Lots
the
and
scenery.
lots of
We've
scenery.
the art team have outdone themselves, bringing so many items to our blueprints to the game.
as well, one of the things that you'll be happy to know about is the fact that we can actually increase the browser size. With, as you say, with so many scenery paths, it's good that
That's
you're able to
actually
see
quite nice,
more of them.
that you can
If
fit
we
more on
look
the
up in
screen.
this top left-hand side, you've got a few extra tools.
Still not the right
They'll be
way,
really
but I like the
integral
fact
to
you
your
make the
management.
UI
So
bigger,
one
click
is
more on the screen.
notifications.
Less scrolling.
Obviously, we
Good
got
job, lad.
notifications for all different types, and usually the ones that will appear in here will be kind of the minor ones. But as things start to progress and more important things start to appear, you will see new variations of this notification button appear down here, so that you can always have a straight look at the really important things.
And the one asking to get
going on in your
$50,000,
park. For
many
example,
guests are
if a
thirsty.
staff were to be fired or something like that, that's something you really need to know right off the bat.
Don't need to know that. What are they going to do?
Why would I get a notification
One
about a
of the other
staff
tools
member
we've
being
got is
fired?
park
Surely I'd be
expansion.
firing them.
A really, really cool tool. So
And then if I fired them, I'd know I fired them,
we haven't
surely.
really got much additional land to build on in this level, but in some of the other ones, you're able to expand out your level by buying different sections of land. And one really cool thing that we're doing is giving limitations on these bits of land as well. So, as you can see here, like this one, for obvious reasons, you can't put passable balls, or terrain or scenery, and there'll be loads of different variation throughout
Oh.
all the different career
The
levels.
career mode's going to have different
So
things you
it
can put
gives
in different
players a real
parts of the park.
challenge on how they design their parks.
I quite
The
like
next
that.
thing, objectives. So obviously with any career campaign, you have your objectives. You've got your bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, and these will be unlocked as you progress through the story.
They've added a new
You
thing in.
can
They've got
also
platinum
open
medals
this
for
on the
obtaining now.
side,
There's
or you
more.
can pin it on the top. So you
There's
always
four
have
now,
that
not just
visible
three.
as you
Don't
do
stop the
other
gold
things.
anymore.
And then last
Good
but
job,
not
lad.
least is our management screens. So we've got
What
a few
the
different
fuck
areas.
is that?
I won't touch on them all because we're going to look a bit
What
deeper
the
in
fuck
some
is
of the
that?
sections a bit later in this deep dive. But if we start off with, let's say, park options, so these are just the basic ticketing options, and whether you want to open, close park, that sort of thing, and renaming
Very in
it.
your face.
But
But
one thing we've
very
tried to keep integral
big.
within our management screens is this idea of sort of modular sections and having less information but showing more. So it's a lot more understandable for players, and if they want a sort of not necessarily diving really, really deep like you could with the info panels, this is supposed to be surface level, interesting things that can make you do quick actions. So another one, for example, park rating, a lot more clear than in the first game. You're able to see which ones do really well, and also we've got this weighting system. So the one that's performing the worst is actually going to have the most effect on your park. So it's almost like an incentive to try and keep all four of them kind of equal as you progress, so that the one that's
You can
doing the
actually see
worst
what's
isn't going to
affecting
really
your park
pull down
rating.
your park
That's
rating.
nice.
Very quickly on guests, you've got some different thoughts, and then it also says your guest needs here. Obviously, the higher the percentage, the more you're meeting those needs.
Yeah. So high is good, low is bad.
Yeah. And Xander's going to really dive into this deeply in a minute. So the next thing we'll look at quickly is the attraction and shops. So this is just basically a big list of everything that's in your park. You've got these
There's all sorts
drop-down
of white
menus,
going on here.
so you can easily organise. You've got your different sorting.
That menu's the kind of menu that I
sorting abilities
changed
at the top,
out of light mode
able to see prestige, income, price, that sort of thing. So you can see everything at a kind of global
just to get rid of
global level within your
the
park.
amount of white.
And this is very similar then to the staff as well, where you can see all of your staff, how they're paid, names, locations, all that sort of thing. Research is what I briefly mentioned when I was talking
What
about the
the
browser.
hell is this? It's like a literal research
Obviously,
tree.
you're able to unlock all these different blueprints, and this will be done through this research screen, where you gain research points through your career levels, and then you're able to use them here, spend them to unlock different blueprints.
Yeah, so something that's worth pointing out here is that over the original Planet Coaster, we are now unlocking research across your whole campaign, so that you gain different nodes throughout the campaign,
that's really
which
cool.
you then keep.
And I won't dive too much into this one because we're going to
That's
talk
cool.
about this a bit later. But these
So,
are
like,
your
if you
finances.
research a
Inside the
monorail,
settings now, we have added this accessibility tool to be able to increase and decrease your UI scaling. So if I apply it here, so
yay!
everything got larger.
That's nice.
So it's great for people on PC who want to be
Oh
able to
god,
play the way they want to
oh
play.
god.
You can see this
I saw
is
the pause
increased
menu for a
across
brief second.
everything. So all the browser is bigger, all these buttons,
It was
all
like the
info
Planet
panels,
Coaster
everything.
console pause
Next, we're
menu.
going to talk about heat maps, which I know you really are excited
But, like,
to talk about, Xander.
Yeah. So,
For
so the
everyone
heat
now.
maps, they're a great.
They didn't show it off very much. It was
tool
very quick, but I
we've
saw
provided
that.
into this game that allows you to see how everything is working in your park. So on this first heat map, we are looking at guest moods, and we can see if guests are happy or less happy based on the colours that the guests show up within the mood. And scrolling through the different ones, you can see that you can see the same things for their needs. So you can see where your guests are
That's quite
thirsty
nice.
in your park and where they are hungry as well.
That would have been
The next
useful
one
on
we
the
can
first
see
park I
here is
built for a
the
YouTube
guest
series.
tolerances.
To know whether they're all
in
whinging
the
and
original
bitching
Planet
about being
Coaster,
thirsty
guests
all the
would have
time.
a tolerance for their nausea and fear.
When it said
We
many
have
guests are
now
thirsty, that would
got
have been
a few
useful
more
to know.
tolerances, and the guests will assess your rides based on both the ride height,
And then I
the
found out it was
speed,
endlessly on
as
the
well
stairs,
as
so I don't know what to do about it.
the
I would use my
fear
first part.
and theming and
The heat
type
map
of
telling me
queue.
everyone was
So
thirsty.
different guests will be
But I
willing
got
to
that
wait for different
notification
lengths of
saying many
time
guests are
in queues,
thirsty. It
which
pissed
is
me off. It came up
really
every 5 seconds.
Yeah, really cool. And as well, we've also added more complexity to the staff as well. So yeah, we've got staff morale. As we can see here, if we zoom in on this little mascot guy, we've got the staff morale, got staff pay, and we have the staff breaks.
Gulpy looks like he needs to needs to go on a break.
So yeah, it's not only guests that we've improved on, we've also improved on the staff
Huh.
as well.
So the next one we're looking at is power. So power is a new feature that is in Planet Coaster 2, and this allows you to
It wasn't Planet Zoo though,
power
so
your rides. So it seems like logical. So I believe you've placed down a new coaster in this park. It might be on the other side. And over here we can see that it has not got any power, and it has a lovely little flashing UI icon for you.
Okay, so we don't need a generator, we need a distributor. So we already have generators on this side, as we can see, since half of it is already powered. So we just need another distributor to basically increase this radius that has been made from the generators. So we need it. We're not artists, so this isn't going to be pretty. We will just put it down, and we'll link it up to the system, really easy, and boom, there we are.
click 2 buttons.
So now
Hey.
we've got the water heat map, which allows you to see if you've got water running to all of your pools properly. And you can also see the water cleanliness, which is another feature of the water system.
So the other thing you can do is then look at your profit, look at your finances, and these will then highlight all of your shops, your guest services, that kind of thing that will get you money over time, and you can basically see how well or badly they're doing. The next one to look at is the scenery, which I know is close to your heart, Xander. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So scenery is something that's very important to the guests and to your park. So the rides themselves
What's this trying to
look at
tell
the
me?
scenery, and they will,
Why is it all blue? What's this trying to tell me being blue?
In the original Planet Coaster, the scenery system was often quite opaque, and the players didn't necessarily see how it was working. So in this one, after request, we have brought it up to the players in a heat map so that they can really see exactly what the scenery is doing and where it is affecting things.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
really
it's doing. It's
interesting because
showing
we
me
know that our players love
where the
the
scenery and the
creativity
place is
aspect.
going, the area is going
So
to
it's
affect.
really
Oh, that's
good to
useful.
kind of link this in between the more improved management systems that we're trying to work with. So you
That's
can
useful.
make really beautiful parks, but it also has the impact as well. And then lastly is operations. So this is the sort of the wear and tear features of the rides, so how things are functioning. So we've got the condition, which tells you if the ride is working or if it's in need of
I assume
assistance.
blue is
basically.
working.
And then we got pool safety as well, which is basically if you've got these brand new staff types called lifeguards, which we will jump on after this when we start to talk about the pools. They basically just monitor and just make sure that all your pool is safe for all the guests that come across. So that
And
is
their
all
staff
of
and not items.
all of our heat maps so far. So
It's
you,
a lot better than
you
Marco
explained a
Stone
lot
3 because they were
about
just items there.
the guests and the improvements we've done, and how much deeper we've really gone into the systems there. But we've also got the weather as well, which also has impacts on guests, right?
Yeah, so the weather itself can affect guests in several different ways. One of the main ones being sunburn. So if you have a very hot park, you've been blessed with good weather, then your guests will start to experience things like sunburn.
You
So
won't
it's
get sunburn in
important
Scotland this year. Fuck me.
to provide the
Rained
guests
every day of the
with
year.
sun cream, which can be bought from several shops, or to also provide shade and
I have
cover
a question.
in the park. So
When you
that
say you can buy sun cream from several
aren't
stores,
exposed to the sun the whole
are you buying
duration
it
of
from
their
like the
stay.
same store that
And also,
Marco
on the
Stone
flip
3
side of
had?
that as well, when it starts to rain quite a lot, what do you need? An umbrella.
Like a
We're used to
giant
that in the UK.
sunflower sunglasses store.
So yeah, so you want to make sure that your shops, you're providing these things. So you want to be able to provide the sun cream, provide the umbrellas, to make sure your guests are happy in all weathers.
So here is an example where it is actually raining, and you can see the guests themselves have got their umbrellas out. And as this is Planet Coaster, you can, of course, sell umbrellas to your guests as well.
What's nice about
Yeah,
that,
not everyone is going to be
See-
so prepared for the rain.
see what's nice
You don't
about this,
expect when you go
is
to
not
a theme
everyone's
park,
got
it's gonna be nice
umbrellas
and
out.
sunny, so if
There's
you
some
are
people that have
slightly
no
disappointed
umbrellas.
by that, at least you could buy an umbrella in the park.
And something that we wanted to present in
I've seen in Train Sim
Planet
World
Coaster
5
2
when
with the
it was
weather
raining.
is the
Every single
predictability
person
of
had
it.
an umbrella.
You can see on the screen
So
at
it's
the
good to see
moment
Frontier went,
what
hang
the weather
on,
is forecast
not
for
everyone
the whole
genuinely brings
day,
umbrellas
as
to
well
a
as
theme
what you
park.
should be expecting to see
Only
in
certain
the
people do.
coming days.
Well done, lads.
Guests will have multiple moods. They will enter your park mostly content, so they are just they're in a happy mood, and this is sort of relaying to the player that this guest has got nothing wrong, and they are waiting to have some fun. But then moving on from this, you will find guests that are in a happy mood or an excited mood,
Those pool
which
lights
is
look
based on the
wonderful.
rides that they have been on. Have they been having a good
I know
time?
this is going to sound really cliche,
And,
but those pool lights look
Are they
wonderful.
excited to go on more rides?
You know, unlike the
But then to
ones from
also
Roller Coaster
add to the
Graffiti that were
feedback
glitchy.
section of moods, we have some more negative moods, which is based on if they're bored, if they're unhappy, if they're uncomfortable, and if they are desperate.
Yeah, we've got a really interesting range of behaviours with these guests, so it's really cool to be able to see how they react and how you, as someone managing this park, is able to try and contend with those issues and try and meet their needs. We want to talk about the staff now, right?
Yeah.
Been a lot of improvements, but one thing of note is that now we have two new staff types. We have the lifeguard and the ride attendant. Given as we're just by a pool,
The
I think
ride
the
attendant's
lifeguard's probably a good
actually a
one to start
staff
off with.
member now.
So the
Oh my
lifeguards
god.
will need to be near your pools, and they will be increasing
Oh my god, the
coverage
ride
of
attendant's
the,
actually
sort
a
of
member
the
of
safety
staff now.
rating
They were in the
pools.
previous game, but they weren't
so
staff.
as you can see in front of you, you've got the
They
coverage
just stood
area
there at the
of
ride
that
they needed to be
particular
at.
lifeguard point. So on here, you can see
Like
what area
all
of
the
the pool
time.
is being covered when you place this one down.
So here we go. Yep, we place one down. And he will obviously look after the guests within his radius, but then the safety rating will start to decrease because you aren't covering the entire pool.
The other staff type we've got is ride attendants.
That's so
Now,
nice.
in Planet Coaster 2,
Interesting.
these are people that are actually staff you have to manage and control and tell them when
That's
to
so nice and
actually
interesting.
when to do their shift.
Exactly. So that's just another example of how much
Because now the ride
additional
attendants actually
control
might
now we've got
leave the
over some of
ride,
these
and
staff
you have to
members.
think, if I got enough
And yeah,
ride
we talked
attendants to man this
about
ride.
integral staff.
And not
but
just
we've
knowing
also
that every
got
ride's
a couple new
automatically going to
mascots,
run
right?
so long as it's
So
working.
one of them
Beautiful.
is this really interesting bard with an absolutely fabulous haircut, I must say myself.
That is kind of fabulous.
He's got a lot of flair about him, doesn't he? Really.
Oh, he's
Very
fantastic.
fabulous.
I'm just sort of speechless.
If I had
or
hair
look
like
at him
that,
go.
that would be enough of it. I'd be endless
But it's not
stroking it
just
all day.
him as well. We
Fabulous.
also have the Viking as well. And
Viking.
he is absolutely Jim Goals. Or he.
Oh.
She. I was going to say
She is.
she. And there's this
So obviously, when you spawn them, they come in male and female, so you get to see this different variation.
Jesus, big.
And this goes alongside all the other new different mascots that we've gotten. So we got a nice new collection of
Male
mascots
and
for players,
female
which we
staff.
hope they'll really
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
seeing doing their thing around
Thanks
the
very
park.
much.
So there's some more interesting staff features that we can talk about. One of which is
Awesome.
the staff zone.
Yeah.
There's Jeff.
So the staff zones is a really great way to sort of paint out onto your park where your different staff are going to work. So you can, if you were to create a new one here, and you will be able to just draw in where it connects up for the staff, and then when you place staff in that zone, they will then operate within the bounds of that zone.
And this links really deeply actually with the staff scheduler. Let's say now I've made this new zone 6.
Staff schedule.
And now I wanted to make sure that our new Viking that we just placed down always stays in there. So we can
Oh,
open
what
up the
the hell?
scheduler here. When you open up the staff scheduler, you can see all the different staff that you have and their names. You can locate them.
Yeah, so that is something that is really sort of
Is that they're called
new
the Viking
over
one?
the original Planet Coaster, is the ability that is the functionality of only paying the staff for the work that they do. So when they are not working in your park, you're not paying them for that.
Yeah,
It gives you a lot of control to really specify
Dude,
and,
every time I see
to
anything about
maximise
this
your
game, I get
profits,
more excited.
with this system.
exactly. And you can also go even deeper. So if I just chose, let's say, a janitor, for example, I can go into advanced settings, and then I can select all the things
Notice
that I
the audio
want
is
them
not
to do. If
duplicating
I go
anymore
into
for
the
you.
scheduler here, you can see
Wait,
they're
did I
all
fix the problem?
currently,
Oh my
believe
God, I'm a
they're
genius.
unassigned to a staff
Yep.
zone. So if I wanted that staff to jump into this new zone I made for the plaza, zone 6, and then now he's there, and it inherits the color and the icon as well. So you don't always have to know the exact name of the zone, as long as when you set it up, you're aware that the red area is this one, yellow is that one. Is another accessibility thing for us basically.
If we were to look at one of our staff members themselves, so on here we
This
can
is
see on their
beautiful.
panel that they are content, they've got fair pay, and they have taken a break. So what this all feeds in is that the pay and taking rests within a day all feed into the morale system of the staff, which means that if you keep your staff happy, they will work
Got
more
3 pay
efficiently in your
options.
park. And if you don't keep
Can
them
I still
happy,
pay them whatever I
they're
feel
going to
like?
leave your
It's been a
park.
sandbox park, paying 500
so
quid each.
now we're going to talk about the attractions.
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier in the heat maps, the guests have different tolerances. And so guests will be examining your ride to see if it matches the tolerances that they have. To see how your rides match up with this, if you were to click on the ride for me. And then if we go to the testing tab, and on here you can see we're currently on the live data, but you can also see the results, which tells you all of this information about the ride.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see from our guests in the park, see
That
actually
pretty
try
much
and meet
looks
their
the same,
needs, even for the
as far as I can
attractions,
tell.
which is really useful. So hopefully you can't just go in there free roam, see these incredibly crazy coasters. You have to kind of think about what your guests would actually feel about that, beyond the limitations of actually building the coaster itself.
And one of our other tolerances is actually to do with what the guests can or can't eat. Would you mind showing us a very brief overview of the shop's menu so we can see how these restrictions play into the menu?
Sure thing, yeah. So obviously got a shop here, Chief Beef.
Chief
Primarily
Beef.
does beef, to no one's surprise.
Good.
So yeah, you've got
Chief
your
Beef.
guest thoughts about what people have. You can go into the prices then. You can change the prices and choose what different things you'd like it to serve. So obviously you got a gluten-free burger, cheeseburger, plain burger, and then these dietary requirements, as you just mentioned, will appear now inside of these as well. So you know that when you select different items for your
People
shop,
come into the park with
you
dietary
know
requirements?
they're going to have you're going to be meeting the needs of some, but maybe excluding others.
Yeah.
That's
So if you were to just click on
crazy.
one of
And
the
wonderful.
cogs on the right there, which is for the settings of this particular menu item, you can see on the left-hand panel there, we've got sort of extras. So you can add extras, and they will increase the dietary sort of what it contains within that one item. So guests will pay more for the items with lots of extras, and they will get more enjoyment out of it. However, you are then restricting the number of items that the guests can actually purchase from if they have any restrictions.
That's actually
Exactly.
interesting.
So yeah,
So
if
you'll
you
get
had
more
some guests
money
with extra
from things for extra
restrictions,
items,
then maybe it's not
but then
advisable
less
to go
people
ketchup
might
because
buy
there's
it
a few more
because
different
you
things
know,
that
put
could
stuff on it. A
impact.
gluten-free person's not going to
Whereas
buy it.
maybe just adding some extra cheese should
Or a
be
vegetarian
might
person
be
might not
more
buy it, or a
beneficial and
dairy-free
easier for
person
the
or something. That's kind of
for the
cool.
guests.
We can even see on here the breakdown of how many of your guests can
What do
actually
I say?
eat those items.
We
Dairy-free.
did
I haven't seen.
roughly
Don't see
touch
dairy-free
on
there.
the power management stuff when talking about the heat maps, but do you want to sort of dive back into that a bit?
Yeah, if we dive a little bit deeper into the power management, there's quite a lot to really look at. Central one, yeah, there we go.
It's definitely gluten-free and
So,
vegetarian. That's all I
so
know.
with power management, you have multiple different generators that you can use, and you will need to place several generators as well to provide for larger parks. So, and then the generators will then connect up
I'm
to
going to
the
put those in a
distributors, which
building.
we are now looking at, and the distributors will sort of say how much power they are able to place in an area, and then you can see how many items are or shops and rides and everything are actually connected to that distributor.
We've also got the solar panels as well. So that gives you a green option. So you've got these, and then you've also got
If I want to go green, I can
and
play
as you can
solar
see
panel.
here, these items are showing up red. What this means in this case is that they are not actually connected up to anything else on the grid. So they're not, you've got a power generator that's not doing anything. You might want to make use of it.
Is there anything different between the sort of solar and then the actual power generator?
Yeah, so several of the differences you will experience is that the actual cost to sort of generate electricity will be different across the different generators, and also the costs to place them. So solar panels are significantly more expensive than your generators.
So the next
The
thing
real
is
question
the
is, do
water
I
supply.
create pollution in my park by not using solar panels?
Very, very similarly to the power systems, we have the same sort of thing of having we have a well, we have distributors, and we got the pump. So the well and the pump are the things that draw the water.
Yep. So these are your water generators.
Yep.
And then you then have a distributor which has a radius of effect, and that needs to hit the water around it.
Exactly. So you want these to be near in your pool so that they have effect. We use the same systems that we do for power, so hopefully if you master one, you can master the other pretty quickly.
Yeah. Cool. So now we've got our water system set up. You can sort of see that the pools themselves actually have water that, clean water that the guests will be happy to use.
Exactly. So if you didn't have this in place, you start to see that the pools themselves start to turn like a murky green.
Yes.
They really wouldn't be appetizing to the guests, and you find that
I mean, I would obviously keep the pools clean, but I love the fact that you get a murky green pool.
Dirty and muggy. So having this in place will keep all those pools clean, and also for your flumes as well, because the flumes do require you to have the clean water as well.
Yeah, and the more guests that you have going through into your pools, the more sort of filtration that you will need to have set up. So this is based on the throughput of guests.
Exactly, and very similar to the power systems. Again, you have the things like being able to quickly use the panels to go between objects and seeing what's inside them. So hopefully, as we said, master one, master the other. The next thing we wanted to move on to was maintenance, right?
So maintenance. This is the mechanics and the wear and tear. So looking at the maintenance tab of the water pump, we have multiple areas, including the condition and the servicing. The condition is a familiar part from the original Planet Coaster, where it will start to degrade after a certain period of time, and then your device will break down. So the servicing is the ability for the players to control if this condition is going to go down or not. So you have the service badge, and this badge will sort of last for a certain amount of time, and if you don't keep on top of your servicing, the badge you will lose the service badge, and the condition will start to degrade.
Exactly, and so you basically want your mechanics to be in the vicinity doing the exact thing you want them to do. You could do this through the scheduler, but equally, as you said, you could do emergency calls if you want, and emergency refurbish as well.
I could spend 2 years running one part, just
in case of an emergency,
cleaning it now, but also making the staff do
but
set
it's much
things.
more advisable that you go through the sort of scheduler and just
Not
ensure
the most
that the
in-depth
service is due, like we can see it's
crazy.
due in 108 minutes. So you just you want to keep on top of it to make sure
I
that your
genuinely
conditions
like
never
put
drop
mechanics,
too low.
I put mechanics down and go,
Alright, so the final
Right.
thing we want to
Right,
talk to you today
you,
about is the
you,
finances.
you
So
work
these
there,
can be
and
found
you are there.
inside
God,
of Park
take
Management.
forever.
You'll see little spatterings of this information all around all the info panels and everything, but a really good way to see the global view of how your financials are doing in the park is through the management screen.
I'm still not
So
sure about
if I
the
go
park
to the
management.
financial sections here, we did briefly touched
Oh,
on this
the
earlier,
first
but I'm
page is
going
growing on
to
me.
show you a bit more
I
about
think
it
the
this
first page is
time.
interesting.
So you've got your park
But this
value,
feels like too
park
much
cash,
white.
profit breakdown. As you can see, you've got this huge graph on the right. This is again something I mentioned before
And all
about
the other
trying
pages.
to make everything really accessible to the players. So players understand everything when it's a lot more visually attractive. So we wanted to include these graphs. And when you first start off a park, you may not see it being this useful, but the longer your park draws out,
What
the
is it?
more you
That
start
cash
to see
tab
these
is like,
trends,
"Ring!"
and you get to see how it becomes actual useful information. If you really aren't doing too well, you can actually take out a loan. So the loan system here. So pretty simple. You take out a certain amount of money.
Yeah, my only complaint to
and
all
then-
this UI
so
stuff
let's
is I
say
feel
I
like there
wanted
is
to
too much
take out
white going on. And this
very
is the
large,
kind of
not
thing
very
where I
large,
would want to...
and pay it off for the rest of my life. So you take out this mode, and then you get the debt acquired. You won't get any interest on this one, but there is a sales cut. So the way you pay it back is rather than
does
having to come in here and have to
Like, this
decide
does
on how much
kind
you
of
want to
feel
pay
like
off
I
that,
would... The kind of thing where I want to
basically
turn
takes it out of
light
your
mode
sales.
off.
So you never actually see the money being taken directly out.
But that's
It's
just me.
kind of like it gets taken off all the money that you receive.
Well, to be honest, I make
Although the
everything
sales
that's
cut does
available not
take
too
off the
white,
money
I
for
make
you,
not
so you
white.
don't have to worry about it. You do
Like,
still
step
have
back
that
and white
option to
my
pay
life
off
to
if you
black.
want to, but it's a
Or
secondary
grey or
option.
whatever.
It's not the main way that you have to worry about it. So you
Well,
can carry on
Discord
playing.
is midnight
As
red.
long as you're improving the performance of your park, it will actually get better and you will start to pay off. So this isn't something necessarily I have to worry about, but as you see here, you pay off your loan. It says how much of your park cash is left, how much repayment, and the sales cut. As you see, the sales cut itself will decrease based on the amount you pay back or the amount of loan you take in the first place.
Thanks so much for watching
Okay.
and looking at the expanded management options of Planet Coaster 2.
Planet Coaster 2 is now available for pre-order, launching on November 6th
Already
for
done
PC
it.
and console.
Well, that was a thing. Should we dive back now? Where was it? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive back a bit. And I want to, because they didn't show it off very much. It was kind of just very quickly glanced over. But I want to see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find the menu tab. I'll see if I can find that menu tab for the start menu. Where was it? They showed it off very quickly. It was like the most quickest show off of it.
UI scaling. So if I apply it here, notice how everything got larger. So
Oops. I saw it, but it was like
we have added this
by the time I saw it was so
accessibility
quick.
tool.
They just basically didn't show much. It was so
to
quick.
be able to increase and decrease your UI scaling. So
Okay, we're
if I
going
apply it,
keep doing
yeah.
this.
notice how everything got larger.
There it is. There we go. I got it. Right, what have we got here? Resume difficulty settings. Save load park. Restart scenario settings. Help. Exit the main menu. Frontier workshop. I like that bit in the corner. I think that's quite nice. Again, it's a bit too much white though. That's the only thing. There doesn't be a lot of white going on, but also it seems to be the console, Planet Coaster console menu type where everyone's on one side and then you've got something on the other. Kind of that type as opposed to the LPC type. So that's interesting. I do kind of like that though. That's quite nice. I like that. Yeah. Got one more of these to go before the game releases. One more of these deep dives to go before the game releases. I would assume. I don't know though, but I would assume we've got one more deep dive before the game releases. But oh my god, I'm so excited. And do you know what the funny thing is? You look at this. I feel like I could spend 2 years building my first park. Just like, because I could just do so much theming, but also I could do so much with my staff, and I can genuinely make all my staff just go into select places and go, you only do this, and this, and you do this, and this. Also, this is going to sound like really, really cliche, but like the fact that ride attendants are now actually a staff member that need to have needs, they need to be paid, need to give them breaks so they go into the staff room and stuff. So useful. Because like before, Planet Coaster 1, the only thing that was going to stop a guest getting on a ride was the fact the ride might be broken down. But like, say for example, you have, 4 rides in your park and 4 ride attendants hired. but then one of those ride attendants goes on a break to the staff room. That then leaves that ride unmanned once that person goes to the staff room. And you have to genuinely think about that. And it's so useful that ride attendants are a staff member now. I love that. That's incredible. I genuinely cannot wait for this game. Genuinely cannot wait for it. November 6th. Can't come soon enough.